Well, we're talking Army-Navy game patches. Players will wear patches on their sleeves of their uniforms, and sometimes it's a very personal decision. We're here with Brent Self, Navy offensive lineman. You're taking the USS Puget Sound, and you're wearing that in honor of your father. Why don't you tell us the story behind that?
Yes, sir. So my dad was a Navy enlisted and served technical stuff, and he passed several years ago. So I feel like wearing this patch kind of honors him and lets him to be able to be with me and be with the game.
When did your father pass, and how did he pass?
He died of a heart attack the summer going into my sophomore year.
How old was he?
He was about 43, 44.
Right, too young.
Yes, sir.
So did he talk to you much about his time serving aboard the USS Puget Sound? What did he do? Did he talk much about his naval career?
No, sir. He didn't talk about it much. He kind of honored others.
Mm-hmm. So now your older brother was here. Did he also wear that patch when he played in the Army-Navy game?
Yes, sir. He wore the USS Dahlgren, the other ship he served on.
Yeah, so your dad served on 2 ships, and so you're able to close the loop here.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what it means to you to have that patch on your shoulder. I mean, it's a piece of your father. I'm sure that it must mean a lot to your mom.
Yes, sir. To me, it just means him being with me. He never really got to watch me play a high level of football, so this kind of honors him and lets him be with me and be with the family at the game. And
the idea of wearing the patches, I presume you probably remember when Justin did it. So coming in, you kind of had an idea, but I mean, they basically come to you and say, would you have a particular patch you like, or how does it work? How did you let the equipment staff know this is the patch I want to wear?
When they let us know to come pick out our patches, I just simply asked them if I could wear my dad's, and they said, of course, just bring it in.
Okay, and how did you get a Puget Sound patch?
I found it in my house when we were going through his things.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Well, we're here with Navy linebacker Max Sandlin. You're wearing a patch in honor of your grandfather. Tell us about the Tomcats and what exactly, what your knowledge is of the unit.
Yeah, so my grandfather flew for the Tomcats back in Vietnam, and so my grandfather was a colonel. When he got out, Distinguished Flying Cross, 2 Silver Stars, 2 Air Medals. And so it's really cool to kind of just be able to honor him and honor the squadron, because, growing up, like, that's the patch I saw around his house, right? Mm-hmm. That's the patch that was on, like, his jacket, the patch that was on his notebook. One of my favorite pictures of my grandfather is him in Vietnam on his jet with the Tomcats logo right there. So,
that's so cool.
It's just a logo that I've seen my whole life that I've really wanted to wear in honor.
Well, what is your grandfather's name?
Michael Earl Sandlin, sir.
Michael Earl Sandlin. Is he still living?
No, sir. He passed away in 2017.
2017. So must be very special for you to be able to carry on his legacy, to remember him in this way, to have that on your shoulder.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so he's the reason I'm here today. He's the reason I selected Marine Air. Want to follow in his footsteps, be a man, similar to him. And so it's the patch I've wanted to wear since I came here. Once I heard we wore patches, I was like, all right, I'm going to save the best for last. I was able to represent my sister's sophomore year, and so my sister's ship, the McCain, sophomore year, and then this year getting to represent my grandfather is something that's super special.
So what's your sister's name?
Sierra Sandlin, sir.
And what ship was she aboard?
The USS John McCain.
Okay. Was she Academy grad?
No, sir. She was ROTC out of U of A.
So did you remember having conversations with your grandfather about his time? I mean, it sounds like he molded you a little bit. He must have really had some great stories of his days flying.
Oh yeah, lots of great stories. Lots of stories I can't talk about, of course, but just really cool stories. He was a FAC in Vietnam as well, forward air control, and so that's something I want to do as well. And it's really cool that with the Marine Air service selection, I'm able to do a ground tour as well as an air tour.
So what would you like to fly if given your choice?
F-35.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
One more for you. People talk all the time about how cool the helmets and jerseys are, but how special is the patch element? That's another extra jersey touch that's going to be done every year.
Everything. So for me, I bring my grandfather with me everywhere with the memorial bracelet I wear, and so the only time I'm not wearing it is when I'm at football, and so being able to bring him with me with my patches, it just means everything to me.
So will you save the patch?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, it would be a place you keep in honor somewhere, right?
Yes, sir.
And last one for me, your grandpa knew you were playing in the Army-Navy game. What would his reaction have been? Because he knew you were football.
He would have lost his mind. He went to every single one of my football games before he got sick, and so just you know, he's up there looking down right now, probably just losing it. My grandma loses it every single time I run on the field, and so it's super awesome just to be able to honor him and follow in his footsteps.
Well, we're talking to John Marshall, outside linebacker for Navy, and you are carrying on a tradition that has begun here at the Navy football of wearing a patch in honor of Brendan Looney, fallen Navy SEAL, former Navy football player, former Navy lacrosse player. Tell us why you've decided to honor Brendan with your patch your senior season.
Yeah, I was just honored when Miss Stacy came up to me and asked me to wear it. Obviously, I know the Loonies and the sacrifices they had made, and especially Brendan in combat. So when she asked me, it was kind of a no-brainer.
So do you remember who wore it last year?
I don't.
I'll check with Stacy and find out who some of the past people are. But obviously, there's a WCAC connection there. He went to DeMatha. I know you don't like DeMatha, but if you're going to wear a patch, you might as well wear it if there is some compatriotism there, right?
Yeah, I'd like to keep it in the league. Obviously, if I could tell some of the Loonies now, they probably wish they could go to Gonzaga, but there's a lot of rivalry. I actually got back at DeMatha in my championship game in high school, so that's another nudge. But yeah, glad to keep it in the WCAC.
And did by chance you have a chance to talk to one of the Looney brothers after it was learned that you're wearing this patch or not?
I haven't yet, but I'll look forward to talking to them in the future.
So just what does it mean to you? I mean, you know the story of Brendan Looney. A guy was a hero. He's a great patriot, a great warrior. I mean, does it mean a lot to be able to put that patch on and go out there in an Army-Navy game?
Yeah, it does. I do know his story, and I'm just marveled that I was able to be picked for this. Definitely hope I have the courage one day to do what he did in combat if my name's called. So.
All right, thanks, John.
John, just one more for you. Just how cool is it that they do this patch on the jerseys every game, and you all get to have that little individual touch to it?
Yeah, I think it's super cool that you get to represent a little something bigger than yourself before you go to the real fleet, and just especially Max Sandlin, Clay Cromwell, them being able to represent family members is super cool. That legacy they get to pass down.
Well, we're talking to Navy defensive lineman Clay Cromwell. Clay, you're going to wear the 3rd Marine 7th Battalion, I believe, or is it vice versa?
3rd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment.
Thank you for getting that correct. And it's honoring your father.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your dad and how he served.
My father served in the Marine Corps for 34 years, and this was one of his earlier units. He was an infantry officer and a 81 millimeter mortar platoon commander and a rifle platoon commander. And I just really wanted to honor his service and sacrifice. You know, kind of that's where it all began for him.
So your dad's still living, I presume?
Yes, sir.
What's he think of this?
I got it from him. I think he, is touched that I decided to do. I wore another one of his unit patches last year. That's something I really planned on doing. I looked forward to just to kind of honor him, and it's really something deep that we share.
Well, that must be really neat for them, because that's probably coming in here. They don't realize that you wear a special patch for the Army-Navy game. When their dad found out about that, and that I'm sure he's going to get a picture of you with that patch on and the uniform, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Just like we did last year, we have it. We're going to get it framed up and everything, and it's wonderful for me to be able to do that for him, and that's really couldn't be any better.
So I'm going to guess that you're likely Marine Corps bound eventually?
That's the goal. I would like to be an infantry officer in the Marine Corps. Yes, sir.
Will your parents be at the Army-Navy game?
Yes, sir.
All right, so he'll be able to see you up close in person.
Absolutely.
Just in general, the patches, how cool of a tribute is this that people get to do this every year?
I think it's very unique. I'm pretty sure we're the only place that lets people wear like an individualized one, and it's all the more special when you can make that personal connection with it to honor someone's sacrifice and their service and commitment to our country.